Hello, it's Andrine, Jewish American Priestess, and today I'm going to bring you a reading about what is it you are waking up to in this moment. We have in the bowl today, we have 3 different shofarot. Shofars are the horns that we use during this time of year when I'm doing this reading to sound the alarm that something needs to wake up and change in our lives. And so to that end, I've brought 3 different shofarot that you can choose from that lead you into your reading today. And we'll start at the top. This is a horn of a animal. It looks like a ram. It's a dark colored ram's horn. The second is this, I think it's a Jacob sheep horn, kind of a blonde colored horn. And the third horn we have today is this long straight horn. I think it's an ibex, some kind of antelope from Africa. And they're all hollowed out at the end so that one can blow into the shofar from the narrow end and sound out the wide end. And it is not a beautiful sound. It's an alarm call or a gathering call. But it's there to wake us up to whatever it is that needs to transform in our lives. So we're going to choose one of these. This will be number 1, this one will be number 2, and this will be number 3. And I'll put the timestamps down below, and we'll do just a short reading for each of these today to help us understand to what are we waking up right now in our lives. I'll put the timestamps below, and I'll see you in your separate readings. Welcome, shofar number 1. This is your ram's horn. I'll show you it. It's as you can see that it's got some wear. It's been polished, but you can see inside it's an actual part of an animal, and then it curves around so beautifully with this dark color. It's got some light color streaks here, and then near the end also some light colored streaks. And this is the end through which we put our mouths and blow. It's a very challenging instrument. And then out this end comes the sound. So what is it that you need to wake up to right now in your life? We're just going to do a 3 Hebrew pull and see what is up today. At the top of your reading, you have the letter Shin. In the center, you have the letter Chet. And at the bottom, we have the letter Samech. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see the letters. All right. So at the top of our reading, we have the letter Shin. And Shin is very appropriate for this time of year. It's the mother letter of fire. And it's the letter that represents the summer in the year. It looks a little bit like fire. You can see it's got those 3 flames right at the top, the 3 yuds that look like fire licking up from the bottom. And it's the sound sh. The word esh means fire in Hebrew. So we're in this time of heat right now. Shin is the letter that begins the word shofar, which is this instrument that we're playing at this time of year to wake ourselves up. And Shin is the first letter of the word Shekhinah, indwelling presence, the feminine divine. So where you are right now is in this time of heat and summer and fire and alarm, maybe even, to say, wake up, wake up, wake up. It is the letter that begins the word shalom. Shalom meaning wholeness and peace. So it's an alarm call, but it's also a call toward wholeness. And shuva, return. Teshuva is the word we use to return, but shuva means turn. So it's time for turning and change, shini. And we're being called at this time of year to transform and to return to ourselves, to return to home. So you're hearing the call right now. I was just looking at this letter and noticing that they all look, the three lines look like little shofarot. Like there's three calls coming to you saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. So where we are right now, and Shin also represents the head and the body. So it's about thought, but passion more. It's about passion, and it could be passion of love. It could be the passion of anger. It could be the passion of just alarm. So wherever you are right now, something is calling you, saying, reach into the indwelling presence of the Shekhinah in your body. Listen to the shofar. Find shuva to turn yourself back to yourself. Change. And find the wholeness. Find the wholeness that is calling to you. So that's where you are right now. What is our fear or challenge in this time? We have the letter chet. Chet is the first letter of the word chai, meaning life. What's given to us by the divine, that breath, that divine breath that comes into our nostrils and that we blow through the shofar. The first time this letter shows up in Torah is in the word choshek, meaning darkness. So we have this contrast perhaps between what we perceive as life and what can come across as darkness. So our challenge right now is, how do we find life in the midst of dark times? Chet is also about contracts and commitments. It's the first letter of the word Chanukah, meaning dedication, rededication. It's the number 8 in Gematria, so it has this sense of infinity, because the number 8 looks like an infinity loop. So the infinite, but also the sense that things are just going on and on and on infinitely, and that we don't have a lot of control over them. Maybe there's something to which you are connected or contracted that you are not feeling comfortable with, or maybe there's something that you do need to commit to that you have not yet made that commitment. So something in your life, something in Chai is casting a shadow of darkness around commitments, around contracts that you have made or should make. And it's time to rededicate yourself and find the infinite in whatever it is that is troubling you. Because the divine makes up all things, both light and life and darkness. That's our challenge today. And what's our advice or solution or outcome for the situation? We have the letter Samech. Samech is the almost circle. It's a circle, but it's got this little tiny point up on the top, another yud. Samech is the letter that means to surround or be supported. Sovev. To set up a good boundary around your situation. In the Proto or Paleo Hebrew, the Samech looked like a thorn. And we have that little tiny thorn right at the top. So it's about being supported and surrounded by good support, but it also has a little thorny nature to it, a little agitation. Because when we set up boundaries, we want to make sure that the thing that we're protecting has got a little bit of a spice to it, a little spike to it. But certainly there is a consequence to the boundary. So our advice or our outcome here is to find support, surround yourself with things and people that are going to support you, and to set up good boundaries so that you can protect what's important to you. Make sure that those boundaries have consequences and thorns to enforce if those boundaries are crossed. Make sure that you are feeling supported, that you're surrounding yourself with love, that you're surrounding yourself with the things that make you feel safe, and hold your boundaries. So this is your reading for those of you who chose this shofar. Right now we're being woken up and called to change and return. Our challenge is that balance between life and darkness and finding the infinite in all things. And our solution, our outcome, is to be surrounded with good boundaries and support. So I hope this is a wake-up call for you, and that you can find your way right now in this moment as we head through Elul into Rosh Hashanah. And I will see you here next time. Hello, shofar number 2. Those of you who chose the Jacob's sheep. It's a very wide horn. You can see how big it is in my hand. And it's blonde colored. It's kind of got that white color, but I love the modeling of colors and stripes. It almost looks like a seashell. And it curves so beautifully. You can see how it would look on the head of a sheep. And it's got this kind of flat end mouthpiece. It makes it a little bit challenging to play. I'm not going to play it today. But you can see that small hole that's been drilled through, and then the wide end out which comes the sound. And this one has been polished. You can see it's got a little shine to it, but inside still that roughness that comes with the wild animal of this horn. So this is our horn for today. And we're going to do a short reading about what is waking you up, or what should you be waking up to at this time of Elul as we're moving toward Rosh Hashanah. I'm just going to pull out 3 today. At the top of our reading we have the letter Gimel. In the center we have the letter Mem. And at the bottom we have the letter Shin. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see the letters better. Okay, at the top of your reading, where we are right now in what is calling you to wake up, we have the letter Gimel. And the letter Gimel is said to be a foot or a camel, something moving forward. It's the 3rd letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it's stepping forward into action. It's said to be a movement toward transformation from evil to peace. It's got that binary transformation of peace and evil. So we're trying to find a way to transform or turn from something that is negative towards something that is positive in this case. It's about, it's a letter that rules over the planet Jupiter in the sky, according to the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of creation. The planet Jupiter is called Tzedek, which means justice in Hebrew. So you're being woken up to move toward justice at this point, move away from evil toward wholeness, and toward justice. It's this letter that, because it's the number 3, also pulls in 3 creation elements of fire, air, and water. And it pulls them together into a certain wholeness, into that sense of shalom. So what you're being woken up to right now is bringing together the fire, the water, and the air to move yourself or your community or your thoughts, at any rate, toward a sense of wholeness and justice. It's a very noble calling, but that's what this shofar is calling you to do, is move toward justice at this time. And that's what's up right now. And then, interestingly, down below we have 2 of those mother letters. In the center, which is supposed to be the section of fear or challenge, we have the letter Mem, the mother letter of water. And it is the central letter of the alphabet. Mem is the letter that's a container, a womb space. You can see it's got a little opening at the bottom for the exiting of a infant as it is born into the world. And it's that watery space that is about emotion and heart and intuition. But it's also the number 40 in Gematria, so it's a letter that is saying that things take time. It harkens back to the 40 years in the wilderness, or the 40 weeks of gestation in the human body when there's a pregnancy. So our fear or challenge here is about transformation through water, the idea of that amniotic fluid that surrounds an infant in utero, and transformation like mikvah, being cleansed, being washed clean of any transgressions that you may have had, or even just physical filth, getting clean. And about waiting for the time that the birth comes, because it takes a long time to cook a baby. So our fear or challenge is, how do we wait? What will that birth bring forth? How do we cleanse ourselves and feel all the emotions, feel all things well, even if they're challenging emotions? And that's our fear or challenge right now, the pregnancy, the waiting, the transformation, the cleansing. Even deep grief can be tied up with the Mem, this mother letter of water and gestation and feeling and amniotic fluid. Those 40 days of rain for Noah as he floated on the ark, in the ark on the water with the flood, grieving, and also containing all things that will be born into the world. So yeah, that's where our fear challenge is right now, feeling things, cleansing things, and waiting for the birth. And our outcome in this particular reading is the letter Shin, which is the mother letter of fire. It's the first letter of the word shofar. It's the first letter of the word shuva, meaning to turn. We talk a lot about teshuva in this season of returning to ourselves, returning to the divine. The shofar, the sounding of the ram's horn. And fire, transformation through fire. This is the letter that corresponds to the summer and the year, the sun, the moon, the stars, all things hot, all things bright. The word aish, meaning fire, and the sound shh, the sound of fire. It's also the first letter of the word Shekhinah, the indwelling presence of the feminine divine. So our outcome here is transformation, is return, is wholeness, shalom again, turning and returning to the indwelling presence, finding our way back, changing what we need to change, shini in Hebrew, and finding our way to wholeness. The Shin calls to me about the big ziz, the phoenix bird that burns up and transforms and becomes something new. So our outcome is transformation and wholeness for sure. It's a really beautiful reading. So for those of you who chose the Jacob sheep shofar today, right now you're in a place of moving toward justice, moving toward that wholeness. Again, the binary transformation of evil and peace, but peace is shalom, and shalom is wholeness. Our challenge or our fear right now is the emotions, the transformation of through water, the cleansing, and the waiting that will need to take place before that transformation is complete. And our outcome is, again, shalom, wholeness, Shekhinah, the indwelling presence, Shini, change, and Shuva, returning to ourselves. A beautiful reading. Thank you so much for joining. I hope this was useful for you, and I hope that you have a beautiful month of Elul, that you get a chance to hear the shofar. I'm not going to play it today, but I will play it in our next reading. Have a beautiful Elul, and I will see you here next time. Hello, shofar number 3. It's so big it's almost hard to capture it on my camera here on my altar. So this is the ibex or some kind of antelope horn. It's long and straight, and it's very long. I don't know if you can see, it's longer than my arm. It's polished up. You can see that it's got these ridges and stripes on it, and it goes all the way to this end, this narrow end. This is the end through which you blow the horn, and then this is the end out of which the sound comes. You can see it's a rough and very much an animal horn. These horns that are long and straight like this, some say were what gave rise to the idea of a unicorn, because in the distance, even though there were 2 horns on the head of the animal, if they were standing at a certain angle, you could only see that looked like 1 horn was coming out of their head. So this shofar, it kind of looks like a clarinet even, it's got a unique sound. I'm not going to sound it today, but this is the horn that you've chosen. It's got, of course, all horns have their unique markings. I wouldn't say flaws, but definitely unique markings on them. And we're going to do a short reading of 3 Hebrunes today to ask, what is it you are waking up to right now in your life as we head toward Rosh Hashanah, and what is the shofar calling to you? I'm going to try to balance that on there, and we'll pull out 3 Hebrunes today. At the top we have the letter Shin. This letter is shown up in all 3 readings today, and I am shuffling, maybe watching me shuffle. So it's up, the Shin is up. In the center, we have the letter Ayin. And at the bottom, we have the letter Tet. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see the letters, but we have Shin, Ayin, and Tet. And our top letter is, where are we right now? And this is appropriate because here we are in this month of the shofar, and Shin is the first letter of the word shofar. It's the heat of the summer. It's the mother letter of fire. It represents the sun and the moon and the stars and all things hot. It's about transformation through fire. And it's a perfect letter for this reading in that it's about Shuva, Shuva meaning turning. We'll hear the word teshuvah a lot as we go into Rosh Hashanah. Teshuvah means to return. And so we are in this time where we are turning back to ourselves, returning to our divine. It's the first letter of the word Shekhinah, meaning the indwelling presence of the divine feminine. So the Shin is here to say, wake up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. To wake up to ourselves, to wake up to whatever needs to be transformed. It's the first letter of the word Shini, meaning change. So we're being woken up to the idea of change, the idea of transformation, the idea of return and wholeness, shalom, which is often translated as peace, but really means putting things back together, putting things together in a way that is whole. Shin is about transformation through fire. A lot of times when we put, for instance, wood or paper into fire, it burns up, but it doesn't go away. It transforms into light and heat and ash that can be used for other purposes. So this is where we are right now, in the sun time and the fire time, in this moment of change, in this moment of transformation and wholeness, in a time of returning to the one, the indwelling presence of the feminine divine. The time of the shofar, the time to wake up. And that's where we are right now. And our fear or challenge is the center letter in our reading, and it's an ayin. And it's interesting, it's right on top of the picture of an eye in this particular hamsa. It means eye. It's about vision. It's about seeing our way forward. It's about being watched over by the divine. And it's the foundation of laughter in the version of the Sefer Yetzirah that I read. So our fear or a challenge right now is, how do I see my way forward? How do I know that I'm being watched over by the divine in this moment of transformation? And how do I find joy and laughter in this time of soul searching? Ayin is the number 70 in Gematria. And so it speaks to big endings, big completions. It's the end of the year as we come into Rosh Hashanah. 7 is the number of days of creation, and 10 times 7 is a very large ending. So not just 1 week, but an entire year is coming to an end. And so that's a challenge. At 70, that idea of a very large ending. And Ayin is affiliated with the tribe of Dan, and Dan means judgment. So there's a fear of judgment in this moment too. That right now, as we are transforming and finding our way back to ourselves, are we seeing our way forward? Are we being watched over? And are we being judged? And how do we judge ourselves in this moment? How do we find joy through this moment of transformation? Our last letter in the reading is our outcome or our advice, and we have the letter Tet. Tet is a container. It looks a little bit like a cup. And it's the number 9 in Gematria, and you can see it looks a little bit like a curved shofar as well. There are 9 blasts, 9 sets of 9 blasts in the Rosh Hashanah services. When we do the Teruah blast, it's 9 little blasts. So it's all about waking up and transformation. The outcome or the advice is to find goodness in the container. Tet is the first letter of the word Tov, meaning good. The other thing I love about Tet is it looks a little bit like a snake. You can see its little head and its tail curving around. Snakes are all about transformation. They're all about shedding our skin, becoming new again. So our advice or our outcome is to transform, is to find goodness within all of this, to listen to the shofar and be awakened. Tet is also a womb space. That number 9 refers to the 9 months of gestation in the human body. So find yourself born anew. Find a transformation. Find a way to shed your skin. Listen to the shofar. Allow yourself the sense of goodness within the container of this time and space. Find yourself pregnant with goodness, and to release that and birth it out again as you shed your skin like the snake. Hear the shofar if you have the opportunity. I'm not going to play the shofar today. I will in the next reading, I think. But for those of you who chose this long, straight shofar today, even though the path may seem long and straight, it's a little challenging to play. Right now you're in this time of transformation and return. The heat of the summer, the indwelling presence of the divine is here with you. Our fear challenges, how do we see our way forward? Are we being judged? How do we find laughter and joy in this moment of soul searching? When the year is coming to an end, this big ending is here. And our outcome is to sit in that moment of gestation, to feel all things good and know that we can shed our skin and transform and return to the indwelling presence. It's a really beautiful reading, and I really appreciate you watching today. I hope it was useful, and I'll look forward to seeing you here next time.